Well, hello guys. This feels a bit surreal, doing audio and not video. Although I say I'm not doing video, I'm of course vlogging this whole thing and putting it out on YouTube. But welcome to the very first podcast, the Made on the Road podcast. I've been trying to think of a name on what to call this podcast, and I'm struggling. I was thinking, like, is it Travel Chats or is it just simply Made on the Road?
This is Made on the Road, the best podcast you'll know.
I'm just so excited to be here. I'm sat in Croatia at the minute. Any of you guys that are seeing this over on YouTube, we're sat in the middle of Croatia in the most green, luscious countryside you can imagine. I mean, listen to this. That's literally all I've been hearing for like 24 hours is just insects and crickets. And I just filmed a little video down in the river, actually, down in the riverbed. It's all dried up at the minute, but there's grasshoppers everywhere. And managed to see one rubbing its little back legs together. Yeah, it's been amazing, and I guess this is a bit more of an audio documentation of like what I'm doing when I'm out traveling, and it's something for me to listen back to in however many years, and hopefully have very many happy memories for. And although I'm videoing a lot of it, I think I feel the busier I'm going to get, the more in the future I'm going to want to just listen to audio. And I very much think audio is the way that everything's going to go. You guys are probably listening to this on your way to work, or maybe if you're driving in the car on the way to a gig in an evening, or maybe it's just like an evening thing that you've got on, sat outside with a glass of wine or a beer or something like that. But for whatever reasons, it's more convenient for you to listen to the podcast than it is to watch the video. And I want to make that as accessible as possible to you guys. So I really hope you enjoy this podcast. Basically, what I want to do with this podcast, this is only a short introductory. I'm not going to make this the usual 40 minutes podcasts. But I've already filmed by this point and recorded 5 podcasts with the likes of Damien Keys. I've got Andy Plays Guitar, who has like 750,000 followers on subscribers on YouTube, for guitar lessons. You guys might have heard of him. Bruce Dickinson, who set up BIM with Damien Keys initially and now is setting up his own college. Waterbear, really interesting chat with him about business and the music business. A good friend of mine, Isaac Tyler, who is very much an upcoming artist, and we talk about how he's managing to get gigs and how he's spreading the word and has managed to get signed with under 1,000 followers on all of his social platforms, which is incredible. He's doing really well, and I'm very much enjoying producing and writing with him at the minute. And Marley Hayes, we did one literally sat here last night with Marley Hayes. So I'm very excited to release those first 5 to you. I wanted to get ahead of schedule a little bit, just because if there's any complications whatsoever, or if there's things that I need to redo, then it gives me time to kind of redo them and make mistakes at this early stages. And as you'll hear with like Bruce's, Damien's and Andy Guitar's podcast, like I didn't get the audio as good as I wanted to, but that was just because I was a bit of a rookie to it. I've now mastered it a bit better, so Isaac's and Marley's are sounding much better already. Just in the first 5 podcasts, I think we're really getting somewhere. So I hope you can forgive me for those sort of audio blips and things like that, but I also hope you really enjoy the journey of building this podcast. And I feel like the only way to get better at things is to just do. And that's exactly what I did with the vlogs. I did a vlog every single day of the year. Last year, was it a year and a half ago? It felt like ages ago, but I did it every day because I wanted to get good at video editing. So, and I feel like my video edits definitely improved, because at the time I had no idea. I really did not know what I was doing. So now I feel like I can edit professional and formal brand kind of videos and still keep the very casual vlogs, which is, it doesn't take much skill to kind of edit the vlogs. It's just more just the mission of all those cuts and edits. But I'm doing very much the same thing here with that podcast. I'm wanting to get really good at recording sort of voiceovers and talking kind of audio. I do it with vocal recording for productions and stuff all the time, but I've never really recorded just a voice. So if anybody's got any tips, please do get in touch, leave comments, do whatever about how I can improve how I do this. For anybody that's interested, I'm recording with a little Zoom microphone here, a H5 handy recorder. Really love these things. And I'm using an Aston microphone, which leads me on to my next thing. Thank you so much to Aston Microphones for sponsoring this podcast and the live sessions that we do. They gave us these lovely microphones. I actually really love this. This is the Spirit, which is their vocal microphone, the bigger of the two main ones they do. Absolutely love it. I use it on all my vocal productions. And I was a big SE fan, SE Electronics, and now I'm a massive Aston fan, and it's not just because of the endorsement. It genuinely sounds incredible. If you want to hear it, I've done some videos over on YouTube, so head over to George Holliday with 2 L's, and you'll get to hear how this mic sounds. But yeah, super excited. On this show, I really want to talk about... I really want to talk in depth with people about specific subjects. So when I do a video tutorial, I want to then speak to that artist about, the tutorial is going to be related to that artist in some way, shape or form. So for example, with Isaac, he's a singer. So whatever tutorial I do will be based around something that I could then speak to Isaac about and how he applies that. The one we did with Marley, which you'll hear soon, she gave us a great half-an-hour backstory of her life. I really, every time, love listening to her story on how she ended up in music and how she ended up where she is now in Croatia doing gigs and festivals. And then we talked about how using a microphone and how important it is to basically to record yourself as an artist, to have the skills to be able to record. And I think that's I personally think it's really important. I mean, if I was an artist, a proper full-on singer, I'd just travel the world with a microphone and interface and a laptop and just record everything on the road. And yeah, it might not be the best quality, but I think there'd be so much more story that people would be interested in. So these are the kind of topics that we're talking about with people. And the first few with Damien and Bruce and Andy are just general, really fun interviews. So I'll trickle those out once a week. Let me know what day is going to be best for you guys. I'm kind of thinking maybe a Friday would be good, because then you'd have the weekend and you can listen to it over the weekend. But then are you guys going to be too busy? So maybe it's going to be better to release them on a Sunday evening or something like that, so that you have the whole of the week to listen to it. I'm not too sure. I don't want to get it too close to the Tuesday, because that's when we release our main videos. I say my. It's when I release my main videos. And I think then the Tuesdays we're releasing live sessions at the minute. So maybe, the Thursdays we're releasing live sessions at the minute. So maybe this podcast could be good to do on a Thursday. I don't know. Let me know what day would be best for you guys. And whatever day is the most popular with you guys, that's when we will release the podcast. If you listen to this on Spotify and iTunes, you won't be able to leave a comment or anything like that. But I release these podcasts through, it's like an app, but it's also a website called Anchor Podcasting. Anchor, like an anchor you throw off your boat. And on there, you can actually leave voice notes and comments. So the voice notes are essentially the comments. You could leave your feedback on there, and I'm hoping there's some room in these podcasts that I can essentially take that little audio note that you've left and actually play it in the vlog. So if you want to hear yourself in the vlogs, I need to get used to this, guys. I keep doing this. If you want to get in on the podcasts and ask questions or have your say about something, definitely head over to Anchor Podcasting app. It's really, really cool, and you can just leave a voice note message. It'd be really cool to see you guys over there leaving comments and leaving stuff like that. If you do just leave a comment, don't worry, I'll still give you a shout out and give you a read out. But yeah, that's all I really wanted to say is this intro podcast. Let's begin it, guys. I'm going to release very soon. So as this podcast goes live, I was going to say very soon, but actually as this podcast goes live, I will have the first podcast out already, which is with Isaac Tyler. I'm releasing his first because we've released a few videos now where he is in the videos, and I feel like it makes sense to keep these podcasts as close to the video content as possible. So it all makes sense. It's going to be a bit of a mission to do it, but I'm committed to making it happen. So if I miss the odd thing every now and then, I'm really sorry. It's super early, so if you're wondering why I'm sounding a bit calm and relaxed this morning, it's literally 8 o'clock in the morning. I've just filmed a couple of videos, came down just after 7. I think Marley's still in bed. I don't know if she's up. But yeah, the bus is just parked above me. We're literally parked on a bit of a cliff edge, so it's overhanging the whole valley and this dried up river. Really incredible. I think we're going to stay here a couple more nights, I think. So beautiful. But I'm going to go see what's going on. and save all this footage and audio and get a battle plan together. So whilst I'm doing that, you guys go over and listen to the next podcast. I hope you really enjoy it, and please do give me feedback. This is completely new, and you guys are very much on the journey with me. So I need to stop going. If I do it, keep telling me off, because it's something that I do in my vlogs, and I cut it out because it does my head in. So I'm sorry if this is doing your head in doing the So I'm going to stop waffling now. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to go over to Instagram and YouTube. The Instagram for the bus is Made on the Road UK, and my personal Instagram is George Jasmine Holliday. They're both linked on there. If you want to go see any of these videos, if you want to see this where I'm sat right now, go over to YouTube. I'll also be releasing these podcasts as videos over on YouTube as well, but they will realistically be released like a week after the podcast, because I want you guys to come listen to the podcast first. And I don't think many of you will have much time to sit and watch like full podcast videos, but I'm going to stick them up there anyway, just in case some of you do prefer to watch an interview rather than just listen. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Look after each other, and remember, never stop creating.